Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. We're going to get started in just a minute. I'm going to give a couple more seconds to let people file in. All right, well, let's get started. Thank you for joining me on our overview webinar of Church360 Ledger. Like our members webinar that wrapped up 30 minutes ago, this will be an overview. So this is not built to help you, become an expert in the software. It's not a training webinar. Our support team offers those. This is entirely meant to give you a general feel of everything that's included in Church 360 Ledger. So let's jump into it. Some key people is our team here at Concordia Technology Solutions. That is inclusive of our support team, our software consultants, our developers, anybody and everybody who is dedicated to building a solution for you in your church to help you navigate all this really scary accounting information. Many of us are either lay people or called church workers. My name is Rob Davidson. I'm today's host. I'm the manager of CTS Sales and Marketing. And most importantly, as I said in our earlier webinar today, the most important person or group of people that I really call you to be thinking of during this webinar today is your church. Software solutions are meant to help your church, which means it needs to meet all of your needs. And so as you're looking through it, of course, I would be ecstatic if you're like, Rob, I want to buy Ledger right now. That's wonderful. But I want to make sure that you have all the information you need to make an educated decision. Because if you jump on the bus without making an educated decision, there's a chance it's not going to be the right tool for you. And you don't, buy a hammer to do a screwdriver's job. And so my job today is to help you understand what's in Ledger, how powerful it is for the job it's suited for, and to help you make a decision that's right for you and your church. So let's get started. Um, oh, I'm always interrupted by this one. If you are watching this after the fact, or if you're watching this live and you need to talk to somebody now and get a personalized demonstration or what have you, feel free to call this number, reach out to this email, and our team of software consultants will be ready and waiting to help you get a deeper personalized look to Ledger or our other software products. Okay, now we're moving forward. I'm going to assume a couple things uh, as we go through this. So first, I'm going to assume that you're curious, right? You wouldn't be signing up to a 30-minute, hour-long webinar if you weren't curious about what Church 360 Ledger could represent for you and your church. You're searching for a solution, which means that you might have a problem. That might mean that your current solution is less than ideal. Um, I am going to assume that you have limited resources. You don't have a staff of 400 accountants ready and waiting to use this software. I am assuming that you need something that is built for small, medium-sized churches that want something that's powerful, easy to use, but doesn't overcomplicate the job at hand. And I'm also going to assume that I am not an accounting professional. I have taken a number of classes in accounting. I've done a lot of research as part of learning how to be a better user of Church 360 Ledger, and I've given this webinar a bunch of times. But that is not to say that you can't stump me. I'm sure there might be those of you on this call today that are either retired or current CPAs or accountants or work in the finance department at where you were or currently work, will probably know a lot more about the field of accounting than I will. And so have patience with me if you ask me a question that I whiff hard at. I'm going to do my best to, when I don't know, to let you know and redirect you to our software consultants who are trained to answer questions from people like you. But that's to say, I have a really good feel of Ledger, and I should be able to kind of guide us through this and answer 90%, Lord willing, of the questions you have today. Moving on, a couple key terms for those of you like me who are relative novices to the accounting world. You know that your church needs this solution, but you're anxious about accounting in general. Here's a couple key terms that we'll be using is you have assets, that's money that you have, that's based on the totals that you have in your accounts. You have your income, and that's money coming in. It's recognized at the point it's received. You have your liabilities, right? Those are the dollars you owe someone else, whether it's a credit card or a mortgage. And then you have your expenses, and that's money going out. It's recognized at the point it's paid. Unfortunately, I'm sure we're all familiar with what expenses are. Oh, all right. So, Church360 Ledger. Now that we've gotten the basics out of the way, let's talk about what the software is. It is a church accounting software that is built for church treasurers, oftentimes pastors, and busy volunteers who need a powerful solution that's easy to use. Um, we build solutions like this because we believe in supporting your ministry with technology. There are definitely places where technology does not belong. I will not be advocating for a hologram of your pastor to give the sermon at Sunday, but when it comes to the back office, there are so many places where technology can support a ministry, make it more effective, help it do more in the time that you have. That's the goal with all of our software products, and Ledger is not excluded from that ambition. So Church360 Ledger is one of three pieces of software within the Church360 suite. Church360 Members is our membership, our church management software. Then we have a website software that is for churches that need a really simple church website, and all of them talk to each other. So as you record offerings and members, you can then post that information to Ledger, and I might hint at that and show that real quickly today. And Unite members talk about each other too, but we're not talking about that. But again, like we want to encourage churches to minimize the amount of double entry they're doing. So when it comes to looking at a software suite, I have heard of other competitors where you do have to record this information in both places, and that is unacceptable to us. And so everywhere we possibly can, we are helping the software talk to itself. So you have to do a whole lot less. And that's why it's good to know the family that Ledger belongs to. So what makes up church accounting software? A whole lot. I'm going to be giving us a whirlwind tour today. It's worth noting that both Church360 Members and Church360 Ledger already has multi-factor authentication with passkeys, and coming July 8th, we're bringing the more common email-based two-factor, multi-factor login coming in a little bit over a month. So stay tuned for that if that's something that helps you make this decision. I want to arm you with that information. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at a whole bunch of what Ledger does today. So let's keep moving. Ledger, sometimes I talk about, what does it help you do? What is it all about? We want it to be accessible. I've talked about that. It's a web-based software, right? But we want it to be straightforward, right? It's got to be easy for people to use, no matter what their background in accounting is. It needs to show you your church's financial health. It needs to give you control over your finances. It's not just a report software. It helps you do things, and it's secure, right? So you need to be able to know what's going on in the software 24/7, and we give you the tools to do that. Is this the demo? Oh, okay. So you can see, helps you do a lot. And if instead of doing this manually, you can save a whole bunch of time. If you're just managing this in Excel and in pen and paper, you could save a whole lot of time and get a whole lot more done by using a tool like Ledger. Now, on to the demonstration. So bear with me as I switch slides here. This is always a super fun process. I would, it behooves me to mention that I really like this time to be Q&A. So as I'm doing the demonstration, it's really easy to distract me. Be like, hey, Rob, I really need to know this thing now. I will stop everything and answer that question. So there should be a question chat that you should see as part of your view when you're watching this webinar. Feel free to throw any question that you have in that chat. Once I kind of do, at some point, finishing up kind of the whirlwind tour, I'll go back to like 2 more slides or whatever, and then we'll come back and just do Q&A for as long as people have Q&A. And then at 12:30, I will wrap because I believe we have the Church360 Unite webinar here at 1 Central Time. So with that, as long as you can see on my screen, we are at the kind of home dashboard overview page of Church360 Ledger. Now, I love dashboards, and I love that I can see so much about my super fictional church here, all from one perspective. So, not every church is going to have, 1.8 million in assets. So again, bear in mind, this is a demo account. We have our support team and testers and our software consultants and our developers all playing with this to just like make sure stuff is working right. And so, that means totals are often larger than what the average church may deal with. Just keep that in mind. This is not a representation of what your church will look like when you use our software, if that makes sense. So we have here your to-do items. Well, here, I'll start at the top. So we have this top navigation bar, right? You can see each section of the software here at the top. This is everything in Ledger, mostly. You can change books at any point. Quick add transaction of a type. And then you can search throughout the entire software, and I'll showcase that in just a second. Underneath that, in the overview page, you have your account balances, right? So this is showing you the accounting equation that drives Ledger. Assets equal liabilities plus equity plus income minus expense plus funds, right? That is what's creating the total here. From there, you can see where this is located in the software. You can see where it's this money sign here. This is within Church360, which combines Church360 members and Church360 Ledger. If you just have Ledger, this will all you'll have access to. If you have both, you can go anywhere. Underneath the account balances, we have the to-do items. So it looks like we have 1 check that's ready to print. We have 18 pending transactions that are ready for reconciliation. And we have 1 payee needing a 1099. Very helpful notifications. We have some information on the top accounts here. We have income at a glance and expenses at a glance and one of our funds listed here. All relatively straightforward. The search function is incredibly powerful as long as my Wi-Fi allows it. So this is going to allow us to pull anything that we want from the software from right here. So let's say you're like, man, I am looking for that internet bill and I cannot find it because I have so many transactions. I'm just going to type internet and it's going to pull a list of everything with the term internet in it. Okay, we're like, okay, well, what if we're even farther away from that? I know it's got 47 in it. or let's even do 17. It's got 17 in it somewhere. Now, this is going to pull everything with a 17 in it. I've never seen a search tool this powerful. As you can see this first one, this has a line item amount, 17 cents in the back. Then we have other stuff listed on May 17th, October 17th, and the list goes down. So whether or not it's a line item amount, or it's a date, or it's the name of a batch here. So this is from 2017. It would also pull up on the batch number 17. You would be able to pull this information. So again, even if you have crumbs, you will be able to find what you're looking for. Um, and then I can even dive deeper. So this is looking at all of finance. I can go to the accounts, can look for the payees, transactions, etc. All right, now let's jump to the general ledger. So this is showing the date range. Let's look at this year just so I have a little bit more to go off of. And this is showing me all of the journal entries. I think that's the right word. No, not journal, all the transactions for what's happening that's in the software as of this year. So we can see that this is a list of payments to Ameren Electric. We have journal entries, we have deposits, checks, all of this is listed. I can just quickly tap one and see kind of this drop down environment. And this could show me kind of the amount, description if we put one in there, debits and credits that are totaling the amount, right? I can then also click this caret and dive deeper. So this will show me the check details, right? Paid from what account, memo, check number, etc., whether or not it's reconciled, printed. It'll also show me who the payee is and some information that's relevant to what you're looking at, what the line item is, any receipts that were uploaded, and related transactions, right? So we can see that this is a transaction to the General Electric, so I can then pull another related electric bill, right? See, we jumped around there. I can go to Ameren Election from this view and see the recent transactions that are related for Christ Community Church. That's the name of our church here. And I can always click more and see within this date range what's being paid to the payee within the ledger. So click out of that. All right. I think that's everything that I want to show here. Yeah, let's move on. Chart of accounts. If my computer wants to work. It doesn't like me sometimes. Here we go. Okay, so here you can see all of the accounts that we have listed within the different parts of our assets here. So we can see this is the central trust checking. You can see this is the balance, and then you can see the sub accounts all here. And then we can move on and we can see liabilities, what's operating off of that, equity, income, and expenses. So pretty significant list of accounts here. And then we have our funds section here at the bottom. So you can see our dedicated funds are made up of their own equity, expense, and income accounts. This is where when you want to manage money that's very specific to a specific cause or fund that you don't want kind of operating within everything else. I can always add to the chart very quickly here, and then I can navigate the chart through an ancestry chart. So one, I just clicked into kind of this main first asset line, and then I can see everything that's being charged against that or into it. And then I can also navigate the ancestry line of how different accounts relate to it. So go to Central Trust, and dive deeper into the checking account, and then we have dedicated funds off of that. Okay. Then we can also see charts within any one of the accounts, and then we can do reconciliation from here. Again, I've mentioned this that you can do a quick deposit. I'll just kind of show you what these views look like. So if I want to do a deposit, very easy to check where am I going, who the payee is, and then adding lines to it, adding receipt. Same thing for a check or a transfer. So you can see then I can transfer one account into another. And then I can make journal entries here. All very straightforward. I always skip over financial reports and save that for last. So we're going to jump to budgets. You're like, oh my gosh, Rob, I wanted to see the financial reports. I know. So we can see here, this is our fiscal year 2025. I can always change that if I wanted to. And we can see this is the list of accounts, and I can budget each and every one of them. So we're going to go ahead and just jump into the general fund here. So this is pulling a load of different budgeting items that we have for each month, right? And then we have the information here of prior year budget and prior year actual, right? Now, let's say I'm at the start of the year and I want to kind of very quickly set up this budget. So I would go here and I would potentially pull what was last year's budget. Pull that over, boom, we're done. Or prior year actual. There we go. Our budget is what happened last year. Okay, that's nice. Additionally, we could adjust it by 5%. Now everything's gone up by 5%. I could add 17. I could be really creative here. 17 cents. I'm going to add that to everything. All right. Now, if that's $1,000, might make a little bit more sense than 17 cents. And then I can set everything to $100 or whatever I want that number to be. Okay? Really, really straightforward. Really powerful. Moving from budgets, we have recurring transactions. So this is things like bank interest or utilities monthly bill, right? This is what we've built as when we're entering in a transaction. So this is a payment, and then we can make it, what's it called? Recurring. Diving into one, we can also edit them. So we have this recurring payment, we have the next occurrence, where did you make this payment from, who the payee is, line, etc. On the overview page, I don't think I showed reconciliation or looking at the pending transactions. So let's do this. So I'm going to jump over to contributions real quick and just show you how stuff gets put to that. So we're in members now, right? Different software, do a new batch, record some offerings, Sunday service, okay? And then I'm going to do loose offerings. I'm going to do $400 for one. George gave to the mission fund, and that's 100. And then Lacey gave to, I just want to make sure like there's other funds on the other side of this. Okay. So we have items here. I'm going to post it to Ledger. Go back to Ledger. This has now gone up to 19. So I'm going to pull this, and then I can see the information that we just did. So I believe we just did this one, given on this date. That was on the time of the service that we inputted that for. I can then pull that up and then associate, hey, where do I want these funds going to? And look at this. They're already ready to go based on prior activity. Really easy. And before we do reports, I want to show a couple other things in the back end of our software. So one, we have a Paycor integration. If you have your HR and your payroll software with Paycor, we allow you to integrate seamlessly with between them and Church360 Ledger. Paycor is our preferred partner for payroll software, and our support team will help you go through the integration process. It's pretty complicated, and so we have kind of a bespoke process where we walk you through what you need to do on their end and what you need to do on our end to get that connecting and everything synced up. Additionally, the event log is incredibly important. It's one of my favorite features, actually. I alluded to it in the slides earlier that we want to make this as safe as possible. So you can see through all of Church360, you can see what is happening and what is being changed within the software. It's no different than Church360 Ledger. So I can go here, and now I can see an entire history of what's been changed within the software and when. So, I can go down here and I can see, different individuals. So Kent Williams, that's our fictitious pastor. Kent added this deposit for this amount. And then we have, hey, a whole lot of bunch of things happened, right, earlier or at the same time, right, for this deposit given to different accounts, right? So this allows you to give an element of permissions to another staff member or a financial volunteer, but you still know that you will have a record of everything changes within your finances. Going to these logins and roles, you can set login information for everyone in the software, and so I can see here that we have a dedicated ledger administration level. And I can go, so this is the people that I'm giving access to, so, right? I'm using a different login, so that's why it says pending. I can then go and change roles specifically that to then give a login a specific role depending on what part of the software. So I'm going to go to Ledger here, and I can see that we have Ledger Administrator, role access. We have Financial Secretary, Women's Ministry Leader. Right? So this financial secretary cannot create budgets, but she can create journal entries and so on. Again, we want to make your software as safe as humanly possible, and part of that is by making sure that you only give certain people the ability to do certain things based on the unique needs of your ministry. All right, back to Ledger. So financial reports. So this is one of the biggest improvements in this ledger from the old version of Ledger. We did a big, huge change moving Ledger into Church360 members environment. Now it's just the Church360 environment with, it was Q3 of last year. So if those of you are looking at this and are like, I don't recognize any of this, that's why. This is all relatively new. The financial report section is a huge improvement. One of the questions that we would get a lot is, hey, can there be more reports than what was available on the former version of Member? I use Shepherd Staff maybe, and I want to be able to do certain things. So we answered a lot of those questions with this report builder. So out of the gate, that you have a number of reports like a balance sheet, chart of accounts, general ledger, statement of income and expense. They're all made by our software and come ready to go. Right, so I can go into any one of these and pull, what that looks like. So I hit that caret, and once it loads for me, I can dive in and see, what this account is. So as my computer loads, other fields will populate. There we go. So you can see here, we now have the actuals, percent of budget, what's remaining, right? All really straightforward, but what if I want to make something that's more bespoke to my needs? Well, that's totally fine. So I can go here, and this is VBS income and expense. This one was custom made, and this is specifically looking at right? What's specific to Vacation Bible School? Here we go. I can export and print to Excel, print to PDF. And I don't know, I guess you can't see that with the print preview based on how the webinar software works. And then I can also export, and it just shot up. You can't see it, but it just shot up an Excel spreadsheet into my downloads. And then if I make a new report, I can title it. I can see whether or not it's private or if it can be seen by others. And then I can add sections to it. So I can do specifically accounts, similar to like a ledger, right? And I can toggle what's on it. And then I can change the depth. So the higher I go, the less is being shown versus drilling down, more fly out of it. Okay. I can then tag the group and include summaries for any one of these. We'll come down to the bottom, right? But in order to make this a little bit more useful, I need to add some columns. So we're going to go ahead and add year to date, and then we're going to do budgets, year to date, and then we're going to do the difference between year to date actual, year to date budget. Okay. Then I could say ahead, behind, add percents, starting, ending, balance, credits, debits, actuals as needed. And now we can see that the summary section at the bottom has information. Okay. And then I can always change the order of that. So we give a lot of customization to how this information is displayed. And I can change the fiscal year as well. Current fiscal year, so on. Right, so we'll change this data. And this is, again, demo data, so instead of zeros, you might have actual numbers, depending. It just kind of depends on what we've flowed in. So, hope that all makes sense. That is pretty much everything when it comes to Ledger. I'm going to show a couple more slides, and then we're all Q&A. So, I'm going to suffer with me as I share my screen over. All right. I want to thank you all for joining me today on this webinar of Church360 Ledger. I want to encourage anyone that is interested in Church360 Ledger to sign up for our 37-day free trial. It gives you a full month of playing with the software and then 7 extra days for reconciliation as needed. Our team of software consultants are happy to answer any questions that you have. Their contact information can be seen here. And I'll jump back to this in a second, but I also want to tease that coming soon to Church360 members, we're going to have a big release focusing on multi-factor authentication, as I mentioned before, as well as event forms and registration, and that's connected to different pieces of the software, and it's a huge level up, and we're all really, really excited to give you all a taste for it. But that being said, now, I'm here for the next 25 minutes as long as there are people here, and I am happy to take any questions that you have about Ledger. If we have no questions, I'm going to be very sad. No, I'll go ahead and wrap us up. Just want to wait a second in case anyone's typing. Eugene, would you, instead of raising your hand, would you mind just typing it into the chat? what's the price range? Yeah, I can go ahead and show that. So let me pull this down. Boop. Share this tab instead. So this is kind of our product page on concordiatechnology.org. Go down to pricing. So you can see here. So it varies. There's a startup fee of $250 that covers training and setup costs. But other than that, it's very low price of either 500, 400, or 300 per year. There are monthly options as well, depending on what other softwares you have. If you have Church360 members, it's $100 off of the standalone price. If you have members and Unite, it's $200 off from the standalone price. If you're interested for how it compares to other products, we have this chart here. There's a lot that we do that others don't. So it's good information to be able to evaluate in case your church has used in the past or is considering QuickBooks, Quicken, Sage, or Shelby systems. Okay. Will the webinar be available online or email? So yes, so if you've signed up, every email will be every email that's signed up will receive an email notification with the recording of the webinar. You can also find it in our resource center once it's gone live. You can go, so now I'm in the resource center, I go down to Ledger, and I can see all of these recordings. So I have training webinars up here, as well as previous overview webinars that I've held in the past. You can also go to the training page as well. And so these are typically for kind of built for past customers, like our existing customers. You can see what the recordings are for those most recent training webinars. So those are a lot more in depth, a little bit drier, but they are very, very detailed and built for making sure customers have all the information they need to execute the software. So we have two questions here from Eugenia. Can you explain how the funds section works? Does the balance of these stay in the section, or is it visible under equity? It's a great question. It stays in the section, right? So we can see that this funds is built entirely of its own, income expense equation. So I can go into chart of accounts, just go to the main view there. My Wi-Fi is terrible sometimes. So I'll look at your other question a while. If doing manual entry, how is it done to get money into funds? I'll show that in a second. So I go all the way at the bottom. I have to load it a little bit at a time. Because I have too many here. No, it's just my Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not great. There we go. One more load. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Oh, come on. If you have okay Wi-Fi, this will be a lot better. All right. I gotta set up another demo account. Thankless. Okay. So seeing the funds here, Eugenia. So each of these balances kind of build off one another. So this is all within the mission fund too. So I can put stuff into equity, expense, or income right here. and then it rolls up its own equation, right, depending on what's going on. So I can have expenses that are directly hitting a specific fund account, and that is totaled separately, as you can see, from the rest of the accounting equation. Um, so if I'm doing manual entry to get money into funds, so that's again like just go to the top, um, do a payment. Where am I making this payment to? Uh, so this is the mission fund, mission, expend mission fund, right? Expense, right? And I'm making that $100. Date today, payee, save. So it's that simple. Um, Mary asks, what support is available for users and are there additional training costs? For example, one provider sells training in 5-hour increments to be tailored to our training needs. What is the training provided for this system? So we have a series of onboarding or not webinars, on like one-on-one training virtual meetings that you have with one of our support techs that is entirely built to get your team up and running. That is part of the 250 for the startup fee, and you only pay that once. And then if you need subsequent meetings and help, our team is available. We have an in-house support team. I can walk out this door you see and down the hall to our techs that are right here, and all they do is work with our products. And they're here, I believe, from 7:30 to 5 every single day. We have chat in the software. We have phones, though sometimes there's lines, so I recommend emails sometimes. And then we also have the ability to schedule a meeting. So there are links available where you can literally just pick a time where you're available, and one of our people will be there based on availability. So that's we kind of like to keep call times as low as possible and make sure that when you need help, you have a way to get it. And there are no additional costs with that. It's all included with the price of your subscription, Mary. That's a great question. I don't always show this, but there's a help articles as well. And they will suggest some based on where you are in the software. I can always start a chat, send our team a message, or go to the help center from this view. So yeah, no, we don't sell training at additional increments. We want to make sure you're using the software. That's what you pay for. Any other questions? Here for about 16 more minutes. Then I got a break before our Unite webinar. Really hope this has been helpful for everyone. And again, we have a 37-day free trial. That's definitely the best place to start when it comes to, hey, is this going to work for us? Play with it, try to break it. And then our team of software consultants are there to help. Mary, great to hear. I'm glad it was. Whew. I'm on two webinars today, and my throat is already getting hoarse. Unite, sorry, I'm gonna be croaking by the end. All right, I don't think we're getting another question, so feel free to reach out to our team, ctscommunity.org. Reach out to me, rob.davidson@cph.org. Reply to the email invites. I'll be able to see those when we announce the webinar, reminded about the webinar. I'll be able to get those emails. And then a recording will be sent to you either this week or next week, depending on timing of our team. But it has been a absolute blessing serving all of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.